Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Please like and subscribe, it helps the channel, I appreciate it. Okay, open clip, very simple one, bit of learner intolerance. I think we're just getting past a coach, we get back to the appropriate lane to go straight on, but the van on our left just chooses not to follow the rules of the road, and his full intention is just to get past the learner car, of course, which is all too common these days on the road. Little look from the front, we can see the coach coming up, so we're just adjusting accordingly. We're doing the correct speed, everything well in the world I suppose on the road, but we're always going to get somebody who doesn't want to be behind us, irrespective of what speed we're doing. As the lights just change green, we get in the correct lane to move forward, going straight across, and then we get someone do that. It's quite effective on the pupils. What people don't seem to realise when they do this, it does unsettle a pupil because they're thinking they've done something wrong. In fact, they've done absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever. And then this guy disappears off into the distance, certainly not doing 20. We'll keep him to that. Okay, this is an interesting clip. We'll have a little look from the back first. This is where we're getting a bit jammed up with parked cars on our left and the impatience of the person behind us. Now, as you can see on the left, as you see it, they're not happy that we didn't make a move at that particular point because they felt we could have done, but there's a lot of cars coming from the left, exactly where they think us to go. Then we actually do make some progress and we get into a gap on the left hand side of the road because there's more vehicles coming, of course, and it was quite tight. Now if we have a look at the front, this car just plows through even though that white van was coming the other way. It could have got into that gap, that car, but decided to stay in the middle of the road, pushing the van onto the pavement. He really shouldn't have gone, and not at that moment in time anyway. He should have waited until it was a little bit clearer, or at the very least use that space on the left in front of this blue car to allow people to come through. They have the priority here. Our side is completely blocked. Now I think my pupil should have gone here, and I think that's where it upset the person behind. They felt we should have made a move at that point. My pupil is driving the car. They need to make these decisions, and they need to make them when they feel comfortable to do so, and as they progress and they learn better, they will be more efficient when they're driving. Now, what is quite funny about this particular clip, which I found humorous, is now he could have made a go there for that gap again. He thought about it, he slightly moved and thought no. Is an Audi. Now I'm not picking on the Audi. There's an Audi that comes down the road here that doesn't play by the rule book at all. Well, not the Audi rule book as I always seem to experience it on the road, as you will see as we move slightly forward. Now the cars are building up again on the right, so this is becoming quite problematic. Here's the Audi that we're talking about right there. Now as it's a bit jammed on the right hand side, we're thinking, how are we going to get through this? We kind of missed an opportunity, and now it's building up with cars again. But as you will actually see as we move on, this blue car goes, and the Audi, completely out of context in general, actually lets us fit through, but purely because they can't go anywhere. So it really is the correct thing to do. They don't go as far as to sort of say thank you, because we said thanks. They did nothing at all. Anyway, in this clip here we was doing some bay parking, practicing bay parking. I happened to notice this vehicle behind. It actually came into the car park when we came in, and it's only when in the midst of doing our manoeuvre did I notice when they had parked after a minute or two, they decamped from the car and swapped over, and it became sort of quite clear that the person was possibly teaching their son there. What's wrong with that? Nothing at all. Happens all the time. I mean, odd choice of car though, big 4x4, but nevertheless maybe that's all they got at hand. But the thing I did notice was, if that was going on, and that's what it certainly appeared to be, where are the L plates on this car? Which there is none, and that's what concerns me just a wee bit, that they were driving around. Some tuition was going on there between, looks like, mother and son, but there's no L plates on the car. You'll see as the car moves away you see none on the front, and when it passes you'll see there's none on the back. Well, I don't see any. I don't know if anybody else does, and that was the thing that sort of concerned me a wee bit. Odd. I mean, if they want to cheat, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't cost much just to put a couple of L's, one on the front, one on the back, and they're good to go. Or do they have even the insurance for it? It does make you wonder a little bit what they're trying to hide, what they're trying to cover up. It doesn't cost much putting plates on. Okay, in this clip here, we're approaching a roundabout, and I think it's just someone who's impatient, really. And it's impatience that causes the problem sometimes. There's a car, second one back from where we are now. We're approaching a roundabout, and it goes into 2 lanes. There's no markings on the road, which really doesn't help matters. You can see it splits there, and the car behind, the Audi, is going in the right-hand lane. Now, when it comes to looking at the front camera coming up to the roundabout, you'll quite clearly see that the roundabout we're approaching has a right and a left, and that's quite simply it. And they've made it easier by giving it 2 lanes. So if you want to go right, go in the right lane. If you want to go left, go in the left lane, like everybody else does. But the Audi has to come up in the right hand lane with the left indicator on to pass us. Now the other cars that you can see behind stay behind, no problems whatsoever. They're going left, so they're just staying in the left lane. Now if you look at it from approach, there it goes into 2 lanes quite clearly. And as we approach the roundabout, where that bus is coming from the right is the right lane, and where we're going is the left lane, quite simply here. So why make life difficult and accelerate quite hard going into a roundabout like that, and then leave on the right hand lane? Although technically he didn't do anything wrong, he just increased risk for the sake of increasing risk, and he's literally disappeared into the distance. Not exceptional driving in any manner whatsoever, really, but stuff we have to watch out for. Okay, in this clip here, we're going into a dual carriageway from a roundabout, and there's quite a lot going on in this one. Initially, I want you to keep an eye on this BMW when we look at the front camera. Speeding totally unnecessarily, doesn't need to do that, but you'll see when you see the front footage. I've kept on the back just at a moment because with what goes on in the front with a learner car, we couldn't really, including us, couldn't really get out to the right lane. There's too much going on and people are picking up too much speed, so best to stay where we are. And these 2 nutters on the bike as well don't help the situation. Pretty poor riding there by that learner, and the qualified rider behind doesn't actually fare much better as we move on. So that's what's going on the back camera. Now if we have a look at the front camera, we've got this learner here who is not indicating to turn left. They could be going straight on. There's the first point they indicate. I don't ever blame the learner in these situations. They're being advised, or should be being advised by the instructor to the direction and when they should be indicating how they should be applying the skill in approaching to junctions and alike. Now as the car moves on, is a little bit close to the white line on the right, but they do centralise themselves up and they do start to make progress. It's a 40-mile-per-hour road, so that's absolutely fine. Now you saw the back of the camera, so couldn't really get over to the right hand lane. Car's progressing. Now what this is about is a cyclist. This is the thing that concerns me, coming up on the left there. Now this learner, or at least the instructor, would have seen this really early. Knowing they couldn't really safely get to the right hand lane, they had to deal with this in the left lane that they're actually in, and that means checking their mirrors where we are and progressively slowing down, not too harsh but enough to get proper positioning to deal with the cyclists as they move forward. And I think they leave everything, or at least the instructor does, a little too late. Bike turns left there, they go wide up to that white line with a car coming past quite quickly. Not particularly good, and that's because they left it late. What if that bike was going straight on? What would they have done there, I wonder? Now you got this bike coming through, looking like it was going to go through the gap between the learner and the driver on the right, and the bike actually thinks better of it. Thankfully, that would have been a bit of a silly thing to do, I think. Certainly as a qualified rider, he does back off when he passes a bit further up the road safely. But I'm a little bit disappointed with the instructor in that car in the front. I don't think he handled that as well as he could have done. To be honest, that could have been a lot better. Missed an opportunity there, I think. Okay, quite simple this one. We've come off a dual carriageway, the A3, approaching a roundabout. We are taking the second exit left, and there's a car that's behind us. As you'll see briefly, as we move into the left hand lane, decides it wants to make the green light. I'm sure that's what the acceleration was all about, but it's also about this car in front as well. There is the car behind us. They move out. They don't need to. They could just stay where they are now to go in the correct position, but no, I think it's a little learner thing again. Let's just stay over there. Let's pass the learner as we come up to the lights and not pay attention to the car in front. And nearly a near miss. Look at that. The car in front didn't check its mirrors to move over. And I don't even know what I was looking to move over. Both lanes go in this direction. There was no need for that. That was moving lane for the sake of moving a lane and without checking their mirrors. So they're both 6 to 1 and a half a dozen the other there between the pair of them. Nearly having to come together over something that really shouldn't have happened. They would just keep to their lane positions and more importantly check their mirrors. Okay, that's it for these videos. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I very much appreciate it. Take care for now. Watch out for those learners and drive safely. Ta-ta for now. See you on the next.